always, we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Ken, can you please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ken. And Frank, do we have someone from the faith community?
We
with
do,
us
yes.
today?
In keeping with our
Great.
tradition of having a faith-based invocation, we have with us today Susan E. Moody of Wading River Congregational Church. Thank you, Susan, for being with us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
Let's pray. God of all creation, we come before you today to give you honor and praise because you are worthy of it. You are the source of all that is good, the source of all of our blessings, and we thank you for every gift that we've been given. I thank you for the opportunity this town board has to come and meet together today. Thank you for the community of Riverhead that you've entrusted to its care. We pray now for our fellow Long Island community of West Hempstead as they face the shooting that happened a little while ago. Please be with the victims and their families and help the first responders as they work with the situation. And please help the alleged gunmen be captured so no one else will be harmed. I ask now for your hand of blessing on this meeting, that you would guide and direct each person in every moment so that the meeting is full of wisdom and productivity and respect for one another. We thank you for helping each one of us to accomplish our work and our goals today. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend.
Okay, I have a few announcements. First, the 10 Suffolk County Town Supervisors stand in solidarity with our partners in Nassau County following this morning's tragic shooting incident at a grocery store in West Hempstead. We are praying for the victims of this senseless violence as well as their loved ones. Thank you to the brave men and women in law enforcement who are currently responding to this situation. Secondly, please be advised that the supply of COVID-19 vaccines are readily available here in the East End. Most pharmacies have them available. If anyone, especially seniors, is seeking a vaccination, we have created a liaison with one of the vaccination sites. You can call our senior liaison, Jim Wooten, at 631-727-3200, extension 653, to pre-register, and we will provide your information to Sun River, and they will call you back with an appointment. In addition, you also have the option of calling the New York State Vaccination Hotline at 1-833-697-4829. Third, actually, I want to thank everyone who came out today on Saturday to participate in the anti-litter cleanup this past weekend. Assemblywoman Giglio was good enough to join us. Catherine Ken helped coordinate the event along with Debbie Wetzel, Councilman Rothwell, and myself. We cleaned up the riverfront. We didn't have a lot of garbage then. I also want to thank the Boy Scouts. They were out there in droves, and the ROTC. It's great to see our community, their parents, and their children working all towards one effort.
And I'd like to do a thank you. I have a thank you for that. I wrote up a little something so I didn't miss any names. I'd like to thank the over 200 volunteers that turned out this past Saturday to participate in the Riverhead's townwide litter pickup. Hardworking volunteers could be seen picking up trash in parks, beaches, and roadsides in every hamlet of our town. Individuals, families, and groups of friends enthusiastically showed up to help. Businesses and community groups such as the Butterfly Project, Greater Jamesport Civic, Riverhead Building Supply, Starbucks, Riverhead ROTC, RHS AP Spanish Class, First National Bank, Target, Bach Graziano, Railroad Museum of Long Island, New Jerusalem Church, Riverhead High School Key Club, Riverhead Bid, Girl Scout Troop 1982 and 1684, Brownie Troop 2777, Chronicle Wines, Boy Scout Troop 94, First Baptist Church, Living Waters Church, First Congregational Church, United Methodist Church, Riverhead Middle School Honor Society, Wading River Civic, Riverhead High School Special Ed, and the Riverhead Town Board all sent out volunteers. Target, ShopRite, and Lowe's generously donated supplies, and our town Building and Grounds Department has been picking up the bags, and the Riverhead Police Department helped make the day go smoothly. I especially want to thank the other members of the Litter Committee, Deborah Wetzel, George Eldey, Christy Verity, Jeannie Fallot, Jim Meineke, and John Fallot, who worked diligently so that this event could be successful. The town of Riverhead has many wonderful assets, but the greatest is our people. The residents of our community step up regularly to do good deeds, whether it is honoring our vets, helping our seniors, supporting our school teams, giving aid to families in need, or volunteering for town events. In a time when we've had so many challenges, let's take a moment to celebrate the goodwill of the people of our town. If anyone's interested in participating in future events or sponsoring a cleanup, you can email deborahjwetzel@gmail.com. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And last, while we remain under a state of emergency due to COVID-19, all public participation in town meetings and public hearings will be accomplished through Zoom only. Accordingly, the public may watch and participate in any of today's meeting events by, one, viewing the meeting live on television on Channel 22, secondly, logging onto the Town of Riverhead website, or using Zoom with the meeting credentials that are provided on our town website. Next, before moving forward with our meeting agenda, we would like to make a special presentation today. I'd like to invite Mary Dabrowski forward. And we'll have our fire liaison make the proclamation. You can make the presentation. Ken?
Ruth, I'll give her a chance to come forward.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, how are you?
And I like your
Nice to
paper.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
You're looking good.
Thank
Miss
you.
D, how you doing?
Good, good.
Good.
How's this?
Fine, perfect, thank
You
you.
look like you could run things there.
Well,
Mary, before I just read something, I want to just to give an idea of how lengthy, incredible your service is. I was just 4 months old when you started volunteering for the fire department, so I thank you very, very much.
okay.
Mary, the town board and I are pleased to present to you today a proclamation recognizing and celebrating your 50 years of dedicated service to the Riverhead Fire Department Ladies Auxiliary. You joined their ranks in November of 1971 and have actively served our residents and community through your devoted participation in various committees and organizing and fundraising for numerous annual fire department events, including the infamous all-you-can-eat pancake and turkey dinners with the auxiliary. As a testament to your dependability, leadership, and 5 decades of dedicated service to the Riverhead Fire Department Ladies Auxiliary, and on behalf of myself and the entire town board and our supervisor, I comment and congratulate you and present you with this proclamation.
Come down and take a picture.
Sure.
That is so impressive.
Isn't
Other
that,
members of the auxiliary that want to come forward
Yes.
for photos as well. Do you want to come up?
Kathy, you wanna come up?
Can my husband come?
Lisa, Conrad, yeah.
Conrad, Lisa.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Is it?
Sure, I would like that 4 months old. Thank you.
Wow, a lot of dinners, huh?
Okay. Never heard that way.
Oh, wait, are these Mary's flowers? To hold the flowers?
Oh, yes, I would like to, yes.
I see you're multitasking.
And not well. Oh, not doing it well. No, yes, you are.
Wait, we got more. These guys are.
Come on, Lisa.
Lisa, come over here.
Come on over here, come on. You don't have to be in it. We can fit them all.
Picture?
You could, you know what, you could probably stand right here.
Yeah, I'll
stand right here.
Conrad,
You stand
you
here.
too.
You stand next to me. You stand next to me. Make sure you look.
This is a firefighter here. This is a fire.
No. Well, I'm smiling away.
Everybody smile behind the mask. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Come on in.
Can I stand right here? Yeah, I don't think we'll get it in. Good, Chief.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For so many years of service.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Not
it.
responsible for any broken stems.
Get it? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great day.
Years, huh?
Thank you, girl.
Oh, this is for my ministry. It's for like, my
Thank you, thank you.
This is very.
Running me over, Hubbard.
Come and do a prayer for us? Yes.
Momentum is going, it's hard to stop it.
Bye, Kathy.
Is that vodka?
While we're getting back to place, I just
Light it down.
I just wanted to mention when I was talking about the litter, there are, and we were talking today about
Yes, I'll call you
volunteers. There are so many volunteers in Riverhead, and as far as litter's concerned, we have a lot of people that just go out all the time on their own. And I wanted to give a shout out to one of our very own, Julie O'Neill, actually goes out regularly on, and does all of Roanoke Avenue, and she even came out on Saturday. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the people that don't just do it on special events, they do it every week.
Okay, and again, congratulations to Mary. Thank you, everyone. Moving forward, I'm going to ask for a first and a second to close the town board meeting and open up the community development meeting. Can I have a first and a second, please?
So moved.
Seconded?
Great. Okay, Dawn Thomas, our CDA director. Can you come forward, please?
Yes,
Good afternoon, Dawn.
good afternoon, everyone. We have one resolution on the agenda and the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. So can we have a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes of the meeting of March 16th, 2021?
So moved.
Second.
And the vote, we're going to go Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Okay, the minutes are approved, and we have one resolution. I guess we can look for comments on that resolution if there are any. There are no comments. No comments on the resolution, so we can just take
Dawn, do you want to just, for the public that are listening, just give a very short explanation of what it is?
This is ULC. They run, we're approving a license agreement with ULC. It's an extension of a previously approved agreement. Closer to the mic, don't they? I'm sorry. They already have a license agreement. We're extending a previously issued license agreement to use property at EPCAL, which is owned by the agency, for drone testing. So they're
Thank you.
there, and we like them, and we'd like them to come back. So we need a motion and a second for CDA Resolution 4 of 2021.
So moved.
Seconded?
Okay? Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes, glad to have them back again.
me too, Aguirre.
Yes, they were good tenants.
Okay, the resolution is adopted, and we can go down to open comments from the public, if any. None? Okay, then we can make a motion to close the CDA meeting and open the town board meeting.
So moved.
Okay?
Seconded?
Second, okay, great, thank
So
you.
moved.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Okay, the CDA meeting is closed, and the town board meeting is now back open. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. That was pretty quick. Can I have a first and a second to approve the town board meeting minutes from March 16th, March 29th, and April 6th? There's actually 3 sets.
Motion?
Second.
I'm sorry. Where am I here? Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
And Diane, do we have any communications or reports today?
Yes. Under correspondence, there's a petition, and that is a request for public water extension to residents in the River Road, Calverton area. Kim Judd sent a petition to amend declaration and covenants on property located at 15 Fairway Drive, Wading River. John Harrison sent a letter in opposition to solar on Edwards Avenue. Janine Zeltman sent a letter expressing concerns regarding truck traffic on Middle Road. Brian Carroll sent a letter expressing his opinion on the Suffolk County Water Authority providing a water supply to the EPCAL property. Brian Carroll also sent 2 letters expressing his comments on the supervisor's resume. Under reports, tax receiver, total tax collection to date as of April 14th, $92,651,215.90. The police department submitted their monthly report for March, and that's all I have.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Diane.
You're welcome.
Moving forward, the time now is 2:23. And we're going to open up a public hearing that was scheduled for 2:10 for the consideration of a proposed change to the fiscal year 2019 Community Development Block Grant Program budgets. I'll ask Frank Messina, our CDA, a member of our CDA, to come forward and to please discuss this topic with us.
Hello,
Good
everyone.
afternoon, Frank.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
The purpose of the hearing today is we would like to amend the 2019 CDBG parking lot and pedestrian improvement lines and transfer funds to a new line for senior ADA and food security. The senior ADA pertains to improvements to the Honor Garden, which is located at the George Young Community Center, making it ADA accessible as well as improving the landscaping and irrigation. The food security pertains to the construction of 3 raised vegetable garden beds in the back of the senior center to assist with food security and support future programs for the senior center. All the work is going to be completed by Buildings and Grounds, and we're just going to need to purchase the materials.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, sounds great.
That's a
Yes.
great uplift that Jamesport is going to get. I know I spoke to the Civic Association, and I mentioned it to them that this was coming, and I actually spoke to them about a month ago, and it's good to see that it's in the works.
So Frank, this is the regular CDBG money that we get?
Yes, 2019.
Okay. And I'll mention, because I always do, I'm always hoping at some point we can add Church of the Harvest to those funds. Thank you, Frank.
Sure.
Church of the Harvest has gotten funds for that year from a separate pot of money. They got 5,000, and then we gave them 5,000. We had some other leftover money as well, and they got 5. So they've gotten, well, they haven't gotten paid yet because I don't have their vouchers, but they are going to get a total of $10,000.
Yeah, I did know about that. I did know about that, Joe, but I was hoping to eventually get him on that list. But thank you.
But
I knew about it.
Okay.
We can talk later.
fine.
Okay?
Thank you,
Okay, so
Frank.
Thank
They
you,
are on the
Joe and
list, and they
Frank.
are getting two grants, so that's good to hear. Thank you, Frank, again.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Supervisor, we have nobody in the meeting room to comment on the public hearing before you today.
Okay. Anybody else? Any board members want to add? Okay. No. So now we're going to close the public portion of this meeting. We're going to leave it open for written comments for 30 days, as is required, until 4:30 p.m. on May 17, 2021, at the town clerk's office. This concludes the public hearing portion of our meeting, so we're now going to move on to public comments on the resolutions before us today. Does anybody wish to be
Thank you,
heard?
Joe.
Is there anyone in the Zoom meeting room? Chip?
Yes,
Yes, there is.
we're going to bring up Mike Foley, who wants to comment on resolution number 260.
Mike?
Good afternoon, Mike Foley, Reeves Park. I have a question about Resolution 260. As I read it, the P&P bid for concessions vendors at town parks and beaches in 2021. I must confess, I'm only familiar with 3 beaches in Riverhead: Iron Pier, Rolling Hills, and Reeves Park, and there are no vendors on those beaches. I know you have 1 or 2 other beaches. Do we actually have beaches in the town that have vendors? And if so, what do they provide? Thank you.
Okay.
I know Jamesport has one.
Jamesport has a vendor.
Yeah.
South Jamesport, Iron Pier, Wading River. I think those are the 3 main beaches that the vendors go to. And I think, I shouldn't speak out of turn for Ray Coyne, but I believe
there was never enough interest in the other beaches because a vendor couldn't really make enough money by going to them because they were smaller and less
parking
attended,
lots.
right. So it was the three larger beaches that I think they all go towards.
Yep.
Good. Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
So moving forward, thank you, Mike. Moving forward, do we have anyone else to
Yes.
comment on the resolutions?
Yes. I believe we have Angela DeVita
Okay.
to comment on a resolution. Ms. DeVita, did you want to comment on a resolution before us today? Okay, then that must have been for open comment. We weren't totally clear.
Okay.
Okay, that's it, Supervisor.
That's it for-
That's it for
okay.
resolutions.
So can we call the resolutions, please?
Resolution 243.
Amendment fee waiver request for the special event Chapter 255 East End Arts Mosaic Festival. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 244.
Approve special event, Chapter 255, application for Scramble Incorporated. Scramble Runway Challenge. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Excuse
Yes.
me, this one's got to be tabled. There was
Yeah,
a
this
question-
is the one I
This is the
thought
one
we
there was
were
a question
tabling.
on the fees.
Oh,
At the work session, you had looked for numbers.
Yes,
Right,
that's
we
right.
still
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
a
So I
a rental fee.
apologize, I should have jumped in sooner.
I thought it sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to table.
Okay.
Oh,
Can I get a second?
second?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes to table.
Hubbard.
Yes to table.
Aguirre.
Yes to table.
Resolution 244 has been tabled. Resolution 245.
Changes the status of a part-time traffic control specialist. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
So I see that this is this change in status is that we are changing these officers from part-time to seasonal, correct, Chief? And I'm okay with this because I don't believe there's any fiscal impact because the costs are absorbed already in other lines, correct? I vote yes.
It's just a civil service need to do.
Yeah, to change the title of status. All right, move forward.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 246.
Accepts the retirement of a senior water treatment plant operator, 1B. So moved.
Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Thank you to Tom for his service. Yes.
Kent.
So I want to take a minute to thank Tom Kruger for his service. Tom was first hired in April of 1988. He worked as a maintenance mechanic 2, a water treatment plant 2 operator, a senior water treatment plant operator 1B, and for a time period he was the assistant superintendent of the water district. We went through a lot of water district projects when Tom was one of our employees, and he always made sure that our residents had clean, safe water. Tom's been instrumental in the day-to-day supervisions of the water district for decades, and he will be terribly missed. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Thank you, Catherine. That was very nice, and I totally agree. Tommy has been a tremendous asset to the town over the years, a huge help in the water department when things were difficult to get through. Tommy was always there. He always gave us 100%, and I appreciate him, and we wish him nothing but the best in his retirement. Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, we're going to lose a lot of history there.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 247.
247, accepts the retirement of a police lieutenant. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
I vote yes, but just, again, thank you very much to Lieutenant Bowden. He's been so good, especially my children during youth court. His guidance, he's been great. We'll greatly miss you. God bless. Vote yes.
Bayrock.
I vote yes as well. Rick is a real gentleman and has always been a community-first kind of person, and I really hope that he enjoys his retirement, and I vote yes, 100%.
Kent.
So I want to take a minute to thank Lieutenant Bowden. He not only has been working hard to keep us safe in Riverhead, but he's been very involved in our community. He has 35-plus years of service in Riverhead. He joined us in 1985. As I said, he's in charge of a lot of other things: PAL, Youth Court, JAB, Central Records, Youth Court, and the Detective Division. He's also been our neighborhood watch czar for 20 years. I did get an opportunity to see him at the Youth Court presentations, and he was really great with the kids. So I wish Rick well in his retirement.
Hubbard.
1985, Rick and I went to the police academy together. We knew each other through the neighborhood since we were little kids. I spent my entire career working with him in the police department. I will tell you, there's not a better person than Rick Bowden. He was my superior for many of those years when I was doing PAL and the Juvenile Aid Bureau. And Rick has a knack that you can't teach it. It's just, he's a type of supervisor that can ask you to do something or give you a task to do. And when you walk out, you don't even realize that you were asked to do something. That's just the way he is. Absolute gentleman. Wish him nothing, him and his family, nothing but the best in his retirement, and he will surely be missed. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Aguirre.
Rick, it was a pleasure working with you. I loved your attitude. You were very inspiring. Your professionalism is beyond reproach. And although I'd like to vote no on this, I'm going to say yes. We will miss you.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 248.
Changes the status of part-time police officers. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
And I think this allows part-time officers to do more than 20 hours, correct, Chief? And once again, it is also absorbed. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 249.
Appoints a water treatment plant operator trainee. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yeah, I just want to say with all the retirements we're having in all of our departments, this is, absolutely necessary to start bringing some new blood in, and yes, I vote yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 250.
Appoints a senior justice court clerk. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes, congratulations to Sarah Burgess for a job well done.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 251.
Ratifies the appointment of an interpreter for police department and justice court. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution
Devin?
adopted. I'm sorry?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Resolution 252.
Reappoints a temporary office assistant to the tax receiver's office. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 253.
Reappoints a seasonal water treatment plant operator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 254.
Approves amended terms and conditions of court reporting services and authorizes the supervisor to execute a new contract agreement with the amended terms and conditions between the town of Riverhead and Peggy Schaefer. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 255.
Approves amended terms and conditions of agreement for court reporting services and authorizes the supervisor to execute a contract agreement between the town of Riverhead and Terry Tramontano Falquero.
Whoa, very good.
Pretty good, Tim.
Very good.
All those years of Spanish in high school finally paid off. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 256.
ratifies authorization for the publication of help wanted advertisement for seasonal pump-out boat operators. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 257.
Awards RFP for audit services for the town of Riverhead. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 258.
Awards bid for replacement of large meters for Riverhead Water District. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 259.
Awards bid for disposal and recycling of municipal solid waste. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 260.
P&P bid for concession vendors at town parks and beaches, 2021. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes, I think we're doing this, but I do think in the next few years, we should do this earlier. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 261.
Publish and post bid for repair and resurfacing of tennis and basketball courts. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
I assume this has to do with pickleball courts as well? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yes.
Kent.
So I just wanted to say that I'm glad we're getting this done, but I'm going to suggest that perhaps Rec does a great job, but I also think it would be a good idea if our engineering department also would oversee the work because of structural issues. I know there were some problems at Bayberry Park, so I just think it would be good if Rec and engineering both signed off at the work to make sure that we're getting our money's worth. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 262.
Publish and post bid for corrosion control chemical, PO4, for the Riverhead Water District. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 263.
Acceptance of 2019 audited financial statement. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
So I'd like to say that I'm very proud of the work that we did in 2019. When I came in, we had $2 million in our fund balance, and that actually negatively affects our bond rating. So we put, in 2019, we put $4.5 million back in the fund balance without any loss of services or cutbacks. And we decreased, at that time, we decreased our debt by $10 million. So I'm happy and thank God that we got this done because it was good for you, Yvette, when you came into office and the pandemic hit because, if it wasn't for that money in the fund balance, we may have had to look at some layoffs and we would have had trouble making payroll. So glad we were able to get that done and I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Bill, can you just come forward for a second? Did we put 4.5, because I know I was following the finances, back in and have a $10 million? Can you just explain this? I just want to make sure that this audit is correct.
Can you say that again, Yvette?
Concerning the $4.5 million went back into fund balance in 2019? Where did that funds come from?
4.5 million?
Yes, that's what the councilwoman.
Yeah, I have to look. I don't think it was 4.5, but when we don't, in 2019, we had not spent all of our budget.
From the year prior, okay.
For that year, what
for
was
that year?
budgeted for 19.
Okay.
But we met our revenues, so we wound up putting money back into fund balance. It's sort of like a for-profit company that has retained earnings. You make more than what you spend. So that's been happening for the last 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, we
That's
had,
good to hear.
We were using fund balance for a while because of debt that we had.
Correct.
Maybe that's why
Yeah, the
Councilwoman
fund
had talked
balance,
about debt.
yeah, Bill, the fund balance had gone down, but then I know that in 2019, we brought in more revenue because we did the solar community agreement, I think from some contractual issues. We were able in 2019, and Tim knows this because he was here.
2000
We were able to start putting money back in the fund balance and build that back up again. So it put us in good shape. It put us
Over the
in
course
good
of
shape
4
when
years.
we hit this pandemic.
The money from solar wouldn't have gone into fund
Right.
balance.
the
It doesn't
solar
go.
money
That
did
goes
not. That
directly
went
to-
into
No,
community
that,
benefit
but that
fund.
helped us out financially.
No,
That-
it helped out the community, that's the purpose, it's called
Yeah.
a community benefit agreement. The community has to benefit, not our finances. In fact, you can't use that money to gap any of the holes in our budget. It's illegal,
Right,
actually.
the community benefit fund money was allocated for certain projects that we were doing. The actual operating budget, since 2017, we've been putting money, I don't know what happened in 16, I have to go back and look, it may have been 16. We've been putting money back into fund balance.
Right.
We had an unbalanced budget going back to 2006 or 7, even prior to that, because of debt that we had incurred.
Right,
And we were using fund balance to offset that as opposed to increasing
Right,
taxes.
we were paying down debt, but we had depleted our fund balance and it started building up again. Well, I looked over the audit, I was looking over the audit. And that's what made me bring it up today.
Yeah, so our fund balance was down to under 5% when we started to put money back in, because we kind of balanced that, where as we paid some of that outstanding debt, we were able to, over time, use the fund balance to not increase taxes beyond the 2% cap
Good.
and get us to the point where we balance that budget again. So we're now at the point where our debt is at a level where our budget is balanced, and we're putting money back into fund balance. I think after 2020, the AUD is just about done. According to the AUD, we will be over 15%, which is our fund balance policy. And that was the point. The whole point of a fund balance policy is so that taxpayers and Moody's know that we'll keep a minimum amount in fund balance to pay for rainy days. Well, between the economy and the debt that we had rainy years from 2000, we had rainy years rather from 2004 or 5 through maybe 15 when we were able to start putting money back in.
Okay, great, thanks for the explanation. I vote yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 264.
Water capital project number 20047, plant 1 and 16, generators closures. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 265.
Water capital project number 60090, tractor supply closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Great store to go to. I was there yesterday. Bring your credit card, but it's a great store. I vote yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 266.
Water capital project number 82052, First National Bank closure. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 267.
Water capital project number 82053, Northville Commerce Park closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 268.
Water capital project number 82054, East End Disabilities closures. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 269.
Town Hall project number 82003, Riverhead Pattern Book closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
I'm glad the UDA was able to completed all of their contractual obligations, and I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 270.
Town Hall project number 61901, Seniors Bus Purchases Closure. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 271.
Sewer capital project number 81901 at 1716 Old Country Road closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 272.
Sewer Capital Project Number 20045, 21st Century Oncology Closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
I think we're who put in this resolution? I think we're returning the balance to the developer, correct? Yes, Bill? Yeah. Okay. But, we're talking $85,000?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
It's theirs to get back.
yes?
Resolution adopted. Resolution 273.
Calverton Sewer Capital Project number 44, Peconic Care Closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 274.
Sewer Capital Project Number 20051, BJ's Wholesale Club Closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 275.
Sewer Capital Project number 252, Riverhead Commons closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 276.
Town Hall Project Number 40119, Justice Court Metal Detectors Closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 277.
Approves Anti-Bias Task Force listing as participant and co-sponsor of Stop Bias Program, portion of the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office and Social Justice Committee of Temple Adas Israel webinar on hate crimes. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
So I'm excited to be the liaison to this, the Anti-Bias Task Force again, and we are quickly moving forward with some initiatives that help communication within the town. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 278.
Approves Anti-Bias Task Force request for approval for an event commonly referred to as the Synergy Program to facilitate improved communication between the Riverhead Police Department and Riverhead residents. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 279.
Approves implicit bias training for anti-bias task force members, designated town officials and employees, and select representatives of the community, and authorizes expenditure of community benefit funds. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 280.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute early polling place agreement with Suffolk County Board of Elections for Riverhead Senior Center. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Do we receive money for this, or is this just gratis for the county?
No, there have been vouchers that have come in where
Yeah.
we get reimbursed from
They
the
actually-
county.
okay.
Yes.
I vote yes, thank you.
And Tim, I think they just recently sent one, we have to agree to it.
Okay.
Before we do the resolution, so,
Got it.
yeah. It was sent recently, right, Bob?
I believe the one that came recently might have been from last year's general election.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sometimes
good.
the county takes a little while to get those things.
It's not a lot of
to us.
money.
Yeah.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 281.
Approves an utility easement and authorizes the supervisor to execute that utility easement with 331 East Main Street LLC for an underground vault to an electrical transformer to be installed by Long Island Lighting Company or PSEG Long Island. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yeah, I think they hit the groundwater when they were putting in the utilities here. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 282.
Authorizes execution of contract with Seed Clam Administrator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes, thank you,
Aguilar.
Dave Lusardi does that every year for us and keeps our seed plan program going, so thank you, yes.
And now Aguilar.
Yes, absolutely.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 283.
Reappoints PMA Management Corp. to act as third-party administrator, so moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 284.
The Riverhead Recreation Department sets the fees for the 2021 spring and summer brochure. So moved. I hope
Seconded.
I say so.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 285.
Authorizes the Community Development Department to apply for grants for water district infrastructure for the Riverhead Water District. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Absolutely. We need to get some grant money and some federal funding for our water district to help us maintain good, clean drinking water. Yes.
Kent.
We're on 285, right? Yes.
Correct.
Well, I think it's really important that we, get the groundwater to Manorville and Calverton. Just looking at this because the grants are a little bit open-ended. And I also want to make sure that we don't saddle residents with increases to their water bills. So I just think we should take another look at this.
Are
I'd
you
like to
asking
see
to table
I'd
it?
like to see it come back to a work session.
I'm moving forward with it. We need to put in grant applications.
What's our vote?
Yeah. Are you asking to table it?
Well, I'd like to table it. I'd prefer to
Okay,
table
then
it.
you need a second on that. Anybody in this board gonna support this?
No, this is money we need.
Yes.
The people need clean water now, and we are working, and if
No,
this doesn't work, we have a secondary approach, and we are working. We sent the letter out to Selden. It is now sitting in Washington. I have, myself and Ed Romaine of Brookhaven have joined collectively to continue fighting, and we are gonna continue fighting, and we're not gonna delay this. I'm not.
I'm not trying to delay it. I just wanted to make sure we firmed up a few details, but I do want to get water to, I think there's a few details we probably should have firmed up, but I'll vote yes.
Okay. Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Absolutely.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 286.
Agrees to opt in and to the implement of e-filing for grievances and authorizes the supervisor executing a memorandum of understanding between the town of Riverhead and taxpayer representatives. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes, this is being practiced across the entire county, and it's a great idea. Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 287.
Setting a public hearing for a proposed amendment to Chapter 217 of the Riverhead Town Code, so moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
And I'm glad we're finally moving forward with this. I did support it in 2019 and worked on it with code revision. I think that this is good. We are aligning the code. We're going to be talking about aligning the code more with the New York State Code and increasing fines. So I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes to the public hearing.
Aguilar.
Yes to the public hearing. Finally, we have it in place.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 288.
Okay.
Accepts donation from Peconic Community School of Little Library Book Sharing Box. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
So I just want to tell a little bit about this. The fourth graders over at the Peconic School wanted to make sure that our community had books. So they actually, at the school, they built a little library. It looks like a rocket ship. And it's going to be placed over at Stodsky Park near the preschool, and people will be able to bring books and put them in and take books out. Obviously, you won't have to bring back the same books that you read, and I think it's going to be a great thing. They're going to be delivering it and giving it to us as a gift, so we did a resolution to accept it as a donation. It's a very cool thing, and I'm excited about it. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 289.
Assumes lead agency and issues negative declaration pursuant to SECRA for the amended site plan application of, I'm sorry.
Somebody,
Let me stop right there.
okay.
Two of them.
I'm just
Under
looking at it.
consultation of the town attorney, I'd like to make a comment and then step out. This project, the Island Water Park project, included work that was done by a company owned by my wife's relatives. No part of the payment by Island Water Park for that work was received by me. I am, however, an employee of that company. Although I received no direct payments, I am on my own initiative recusing myself to avoid any appearance of impropriety and any perception of a conflict of interest. I am advised that recusing myself requires that I leave the room, refrain from any discussion, influence, input, and waiting with respect to the above referenced project. Allow me to take a moment to vacate the town board meeting room.
Please return.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, Frank, we'll call you back in.
I can read the resolution.
Okay.
Assumes lead agency and issues negative declaration pursuant to SECRA for the amended site plan application of Island Water Park, 5835 Middle Country Road, Calverton, New York, Suffolk County, map number 600-135-1734. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Kent.
My only concern about this and looking at it, I just wanted to make sure, Jefferson, you're here. I wanted to make sure that we're addressing the fire marshal's comment about the availability of water for fire suppression.
Jeff, can you come forward? Isn't that covered under SECRA? That's the purpose of SECRA, is to ensure these,
Yes,
that is part of SECRA, and SECRA was completed.
yes.
And I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, I understand the DEC visited the location about a week ago, and they cleared the location, everything is set in place, and now they're leaving it up to the town board. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And Jefferson, it was determined that there was sufficient water for fire suppression.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay. That, Catherine, that usually comes under SECRA.
I vote yes.
Okay.
Hubbard.
Yes, finally.
Aguirre.
Yes, we welcome them. I think this is great. This is going to be a destination park. I've gotten texts, people saying this has to happen, we want it to happen. And Tim, thank you for supporting it. Rothwell, and now Kent is supporting it, and thank you, board, for helping move our town forward.
It's a great project.
Okay, resolution adopted. Resolution 290.
Schedules public hearing for the amended site plan application of Island Water Park, 5835 Middle Country Road in Calverton, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-135-1-7.34. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Rothwell.
Yes for the public hearing.
Kent.
Yes, I think this is a project, I think people in town will enjoy this. It has a lot of amenities that people will really like. As long as we got everything in line, I think it's good that we're finally getting it moved forward. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Absolutely.
Resolution adopted. You want to call?
Yeah, can we bring
in,
Frank
or
back in?
that's
Yes.
Just one more resolution.
Oh, yeah. That's just Frank back.
Sorry, I don't understand.
I hit a button, obviously. You should play that after every resolution. I don't understand, what is it about?
Okay, resolution 291.
Pay
Welcome
the
back.
bills.
Thank you.
Can I get a second
So
on,
moved.
Catherine, pay the bills? Can I get a second?
Second it.
Great. Please vote.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Okay, thank you, Diane. This concludes our resolutions for today. At this point, we'll open it up for public comments on any other matter. Devin, is there anyone with us via Zoom
Yes.
wishing to make a comment?
Yes, so first we're going to bring up Angela DeVito, who I understand we may have missed. We had a little miscommunication with Ms. DeVito. She may have wanted to make a comment on the public hearing that was earlier.
Okay.
Ms. DeVito, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Actually, my comment today addresses a recent statement that was made before the planning board that raised a question of Councilman Bayrot's possible conflict of interest with regard to the Nextera project. And in our reporting of it through Riverhead Local, Mr. Bayrot is quoted as saying that his wife and wife's family owns a tiny share of a large conglomeration of properties that comprise S-Power's Riverhead Solar 2 site, and that it has nothing to do with him directly. Directly, that may be technically so, but quite frankly, it really isn't good enough. Public trust is really based on perception, and oftentimes because we don't have all of the information. For example, there isn't a complete exposure or declaration of exactly what is this tiny share. Is it 5%? Is it 1/10 of 1%? Is it 1/100th of 1%? And it doesn't really matter. In this instance, I would appeal to Mr. Bayrot, regardless of the size of the share and the fact that he himself does not actually get a check from this, should not be a question for him, but that he should proceed and recuse himself from any further involvement with this project, just as he has done with the Island Water. So thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. So next,
I
oh, okay.
could make a statement. I'd like maybe Bob Cos just to give a little bit of background, and then I do want to say something.
Yeah, I've had some conversations with the councilman on this, and there is some distinctions between the Island Water Park scenario and the Nextera. As probably Ms. DeVito is aware, under Section 113-4 of our Standards of Conduct, you know, the recusal is not required by a town official. He should, however, disclose what his interest is or what his interest is not. So I would certainly advise Councilman Bayrot with respect to the Nextera scenario to describe that. He has explained to me that the company that was involved with Riverhead Solar 1, and therefore Riverhead Solar 2, is one in which he has no interest whatsoever. And that is a distinction between that particular project and the Island Water Park scenario, of which he was an employee of the company that did the work. So again, under 113-4, subject to that disclosure, recusal is not required, but that is something that I will defer to the councilman as to whether he feels he needs to make that recusal or not.
No, I appreciate your advice through all of these things. I can't believe how many times I've even had to think about recusing because of my family's business in the town. This is a distinctly different kind of a situation. In farming, it's very typical to have your core business and then have the properties you own put into an LLC, depending on who the exact owners are. This property was bought well before I was even in the family. I was still in Manhattan District Attorney's office. And the owners of this LLC are my wife's father, her aunt, and her cousin. And I have no interest in that LLC or any of that property whatsoever. And that includes Solar 1 and the small percentage of Solar 2, which, Angela, I thought I said to Denise, it's only 20 acres of the Solar 2 project. But as far as me having any direct interest, I absolutely have none. There are LLCs within our company that I do have interest in pieces of property, but this is absolutely not one of them.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Okay, Supervisor, next we have Kathy McGraw.
afternoon. There's a right way and a wrong way for the town board to conduct the business of the town. The March 30th letter you sent to the planning board affirming the secret neg deck on the NextEra solar project was clearly the wrong way of doing things. Although this NextEra project has been pending since 2018, it was not until this February that NextEra revealed to the planning board critical information about the height and depiction of its large-scale voltage substation. The tallest structure would not be 11 feet as represented on NextEra's EAS back in 2018, but rather 22 feet tall, with two 45-foot masts. It also revealed for the first time an easement signed back in September 2019 between NextEra Solar Power and Westbury Properties. In it, NextEra agreed to negotiate with S-Power to provide S-Power with easements and other real property rights requested by S-Power for its S-Power 2 project and any other of its development projects within a 10-mile radius of the easement area. The growth-inducing impacts of this agreement were never analyzed by you. Why? Because you didn't have this information. NextEra had it, but chose not to disclose it until February of this year. As a result, based on incomplete information, you adopted a SECRA neg deck. I submit, and I believe anyone conversant with SECRA would agree, the non-disclosed information would have required a SECRA pause deck. Yet once made aware of this information, instead of holding NextEra's feet to the fire for holding back relevant facts to your secret evaluation, all you did was send your March 30th letter. You did not reopen the SECRA neg deck, and what's the message of this sends to developers? Hold back whatever you like. No worries, the town board will cover for you. As for that March 30th letter, the three who signed it all had impediments to doing so. You, Supervisor Aguirre, had voted against the neg deck. Why would you now agree to affirm that neg deck, particularly when the new information cries out for a positive declaration? You, Mr. Rothwell, weren't on the board in February 2020, so on what factual basis did you affirm that neg deck? And most troubling of all, notwithstanding the comments made earlier, Mr. Bayrod, you have a conflict of interest, and in September 2020, you recused yourself from voting on a proposed solar moratorium. Your reason, in your own words, was my family has a sod farm which Solar 2 is a part of. Fast forward to the NextEra project, and we now learn that the newly disclosed easement involves S-Power and its pending Solar 2 project. If you had a conflict on the moratorium because of your family's sod farm, why, once you learned of the easement with S-Power in the NextEra project, did that same conflict not compel you to recuse yourself from signing the March 30th letter? A few days ago, as Angela said, it was reported in the Riverhead Local, you said you had nothing to do with NextEra, one way or the other. That you went on to say your wife's family owns just the tiny share, and you just told us 20 acres in the Solar 2 site. With all due respect, Mr. Bayrod, whether it's a tiny share or a larger share, your wife's family has a commercial interest in S-Power's S2 site. And your wife's family also owned the 109 acres that are the site of S-Power's S1 project. Clearly, your wife's family has a relationship with S-Power that creates a conflict for you that you recognized back during the moratorium. Since S-Power, by virtue of the newly disclosed easement, is now linked to NextEra, your conflict extends to this NextEra project. You should have recused yourself from signing the March 30th letter. In closing, NextEra pulled a fast one on this town.
Ms. McGraw, you have 30 seconds left. 30 seconds.
It failed to disclose information that was critical to the SECRA neg deck determination. To correct this and to discourage future developers from similar tactics, I urge you to rescind the special permit for this project, do a new SECRA evaluation and determination, and Mr. Bayrod should recuse himself from this matter. This would be the right way for the town board to conduct the business of this town. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, it's my understanding, Bob, that once the seeker is completed, you can't reopen it. Did you want to add to that effect? In the March 20th letter, it was at the request of the chairman of the planning board. He made on television, and Ms. McGraw, you were there on that, you were in attendance, and he indicated that he wanted the town board to sign a letter. It went out to every town board member. 3 town board members signed it, and it got sent to him at his request. So let's be clear and get those facts together. And Bob, can you just please add to the reopening secret? I think there's a misunderstanding. I know, I believe Ms. McGraw is an attorney, so maybe
Like all things, it can be read 2 ways. The record was closed by the board taking final action on the special permit. They also, closed the record as far as the neg declaration. So the board, this board, if it was to decide to reopen seeker because of the new information that came to light as part of the planning board's discovery, i.e. the height of the step-up facility, the board could have reopened the seeker process, rescinded the special permit. You could have. The board instead did not do that. Now, with respect to what the planning board asked, it was one person on the planning board who asked the board, this board, or actually more specifically the planning department, to go back to the town board and ascertain whether this information would have changed your minds. There was not a request by the planning board to have a new resolution done. It was just a request that came from the chairman asking for some clarification of what the town board meant and what would have changed if you knew this information.
Okay.
And certainly, at the very least, I think it would have been a better idea for this to be a discussion, town board discussion, as opposed to something of this importance being done in an email.
Okay, Supervisor?
I just jump in here. I do support the fact that we should go back and open this up again and go back for another look at secret, because in my mind, why I didn't sign that letter is I thought there was enough of a change between the building size and the height of the other structures. To me, that needed to be relooked at. And whether they forgot it or whether they pulled a fast one, I'll let you decide on that. But I think in my mind, because secret is a very subjective part of the process. And as Bob just mentioned, you can say it one way, you can say it another way, and you'll get 2 different meanings out of it. Secret can be looked at by one person and say, absolutely, that's a pos deck, and somebody else can come up and say, absolutely, it's a neg deck. And they'll argue back and forth, because secret is not a black and white policy, it's a gray policy. And gray creates a lot of problems, and I think in this instance, it's a problem for me, and I would like to see it reopened again. But having said that, I know I don't have the support on the board, because I was asked why I didn't ask the board to open it, because I knew there wasn't support to do it. I think there were just 2 of us in favor of that.
Well, and it's a significant change.
Okay, next, Supervisor, we have John McAuliffe in the room to make comments on an open topic today.
Get my video back in. All right, thank you very
Hi,
much.
good afternoon, John.
Hi, good afternoon. John McAuliffe from Rolling Woods in Riverhead. I want to raise a different question, but I want to continue the dialogue that just took place, and I want to commend Tim's statement, very clear statement. I think I listened in on the planning board meeting. I think the fact that the planning board rejected the preliminary site plan, it may not legally require the board to reopen it, but I think it certainly morally requires you to seriously look at it. And I would ask the 3 board members who signed the letter whether they have any doubts now about that, and if one of them would support Tim and Catherine for reopening of the seeker on that project. So that's a very specific question. The point I had intended to raise. I was not able to be at the last meeting, but in this rather torturous after the fact approval of the suit against the DEC, I would be interested just factually to know whether two things about that suit. One is realistically, given court schedules, when you expect it to be acted on. And the second question is, are there any expenses to the town of bringing this suit, either expenses in terms of court costs or attorney costs? Thank you.
All right. Anybody want to comment?
Well, I will say that with respect to attorney's fees, we are utilizing the law firm of Smith, Finkelstein, Lumberg, Eisler, and Yakubowski, Mr. Eisler in particular. So, yes, there will be attorney's fees. As far as a timing or expectation of when the case will be resolved, I can't predict that. I can say, however, it's third department and not second department in Albany, not here on Long Island, so that does help. The caseload there tends to be less than our department. Second department and first department are the heavy litigated or heavily saturated departments with lawsuits, so they tend to have a longer period of time to get to a resolution. The judge who's handling the case is not coming in cold. He's been handling the Part 182 action that we have pending and that we were able to successfully keep alive by going to the Court of Appeals. So he has got some intimate knowledge of the site and the town's interaction with the DEC. So I think that will help speed the process along. Again, I cannot give you a definitive answer when the decision will be made, Mr. McAuliffe, but I can tell you that I'm confident that given the judge's familiarity, it'll be quicker than if we had somebody coming in cold.
Okay, next.
Okay, next we have Mike Foley.
Good afternoon, Mike Foley, Rees Park, speaking for myself alone. Regarding the master plan, Jefferson, I have two questions. How's the online survey preparation going? I know the survey is the first step in community input into this process, and the master plan is way behind schedule. It's been 16 months since the AKRF contract was signed, and all of the performance timeframes have expired. Speaking of the AKRF contract, when will the contract be amended so that the public can get an idea of the new schedule? The online information has not been updated in any capacity in over 2 months, so it feels like nothing is happening. Sid Bale was appointed to represent the civics as a conduit of getting civic issues to the Central Advisory Committee table, and the CAC list still has not been updated online to reflect that. At the last town board meeting, I spoke of the importance of getting a local environmental subject matter expert on the Central Advisory Committee so that only environmental issues specific to Riverhead would be focused on. I asked Tim, who is the town board liaison for the master plan, if the civics could give Tim a list of local environmental candidates so that Tim could discuss the candidates with the board. As Tim was starting to answer me, you interrupted Tim, saying that you and Jefferson would decide who would be appointed. You did the same thing last month when Tim was answering my question of the civics, giving Tim a list of 3 civic candidates for the board to consider in selecting an appointee to the Central Advisory Committee. You again interrupted Tim, announcing your appointment of Sid Bale. Clearly, your appointment of Sid was news to Tim, and I assume the other 3 town board members. In my opinion, your heavy-handed, unilateral proclamations are not good governance, and they are disrespectful to the other elected town board members, even if they don't mention it or even feel it themselves. Perception is reality in politics, Yvette, and I'm telling you that's my perception. I called your office the day after that message was given to the town board. I left a detailed message for you with your staff, asking for you to call me at your convenience to discuss an environmental appointment to the Central Advisory Committee. I waited 5 days, and then I called again. I spoke to a second staff member, asking for you to call me back. I wanted to discuss this privately with you, and for 13 days, you failed to return my calls. So here I am today, in the public forum, on the record, to tell you that it is unacceptable for a supervisor to bypass the elected town board and decide the composition of the Central Advisory Committee with a subordinate employee of yours instead of the town board. You ran for office on open governance. Your actions here are the opposite of open governance. It's you do it my way and you'll like it. I don't like it, Yvette, and I believe your recent behavior regarding a master plan must change if we have a chance to get useful direction from the master plan. If you'd like to apologize to me for your failure to return my calls, I'll accept your apology and I'll move forward, calling you occasionally to discuss issues privately that I think will help the town. If you feel no need to apologize to me, well, that's fine too. I look forward to Jefferson, Yvette's, and the town board's responses and comments. Thank you for your attention.
A couple of things I want to mention, because you brought up the environmental person. You know, the town has a working environmental advisory committee of 15 members. I'm actually the liaison to that, and I did speak with Tim, I don't know, a couple months ago. We talked about appointing someone. I do believe you asked one of the people, but they weren't able to do it. But there are still all the other members of the committee, so I'm actually baffled why we're not drawing upon these experts that we have that volunteer, come with a wealth of knowledge into our town. And several of them are on lots of different environmental groups. They live in, everyone on the committee, I believe, lives in Riverhead. So I don't know why we don't draw from that committee, and I'm asking that we do that. And as far as the master plan update, Mike brings up a lot of good points, because this is such an important thing that we're doing. The master plan has not been updated since 2003. That's a long time. And this is a tool that we use to steer all the development in the town of Riverhead. So we need to really move this along and get this right.
And I agree with you, Catherine. Concerning Tim, I don't think I interrupted you 3 times in one meeting. However, you did put a name forward that was going to be considered.
I never heard back from that.
So, yeah. Concerning the master plan, usually master plans are completed every 20 years. It's standard across the world, and we are just right. There has been some progress made. Jefferson Murphy meets with me. We are the drivers to this. Councilman Hubbard asked to be on as the liaison, and he is the liaison. Anybody can ask questions. Any of the council members can ask questions. Jefferson, there's been some progress, and I guess you can come forward and discuss it, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. How is everybody today?
Good afternoon.
Hey, Mike, how are you? It's getting warmer out, by the way, so that invitation is still there. Just to give you an update, it's funny that you called today, Mike, about that issue about the contract. I actually have a meeting scheduled later this afternoon with Bob White of AKRF. We're going to be updating the contract and all the timelines in that, so that's on the agenda today before I leave work. The rollout of the community survey, it's done. But we want to update the website. The website, in my opinion, is woefully inadequate, so we're completely updating it. The AKRF is actually going to be hosting the website in the near future. We've been working with Chip in the IT department. We're actually going to be coming up with interactive maps. We would typically come out to community hamlet meetings in person and then have maps of the hamlets, and then we have breakout groups and talk about what's important to the communities, what are the important issues that are facing them in the communities. Because of the COVID, we're not going to be doing that in person. It's going to be done via Zoom. And we obviously can't be discussing a map because we can't hand out the map, but we will be handing out maps virtually. And that's one reason why we're having the delay in rolling that out is that we have 11 hamlets in the town. We have to have hamlet maps. Chip is working with the IT person from AKRF on rolling that out. All of that will be encompassed in the revised contract. So we're waiting on launching the community survey, Mike, until we update the website. But we don't want to do that until we get the interactive maps online. That's a technical issue. I don't know the technical wherewithal with GIS. That's not my area of expertise. I know what the content should be, that's where I come in. But Chip and the AKRF are preparing that now, and hopefully we'll have that out shortly. We're also delaying the rollout in part because of what Sid Bale recommended, and it was a good point, is that we want to capture the summer population. If we had done this earlier at the end of last fall or early this spring, we would have missed the summer population, and that's an important segment of our community, so we don't want to ignore them, and we want to incorporate them into the review process. We do have an update from AKRF. I think it's been posted online. I got to make sure. We got the end of last week. I sent it to you on Saturday to all the board members. So if it has been posted, I'll double check on the way back to the office to make sure that's done. I think that's everything for now. One of the important things, this is for all the people from the different civic associations, a really critical thing. I knew it was going to be, and I heard crickets, but now it's starting to get ramped up, are the boundaries of the hamlets. It's a very sensitive issue with members of the community. I've talked to some of the community members already. Please take a look at the online draft hamlet boundary map, everybody. If you have an upcoming civic association meeting, take a look at your hamlet boundaries. We would love to hear from you. They're based upon a whole set of different criteria, and it's not just an emotional one that you grew up thinking you're in Jamesport, but you're not. You're in Bating Hollow. You're thinking you're in Wading River, but you're in an adjacent hamlet. There's going to be a lot of emotions based upon that. There are zip codes based upon it. There are census tracts based upon it. There are different taxing districts based upon it. So I'd ask the civic associations, don't wait for us to come out to you. Start taking a look at those maps now so that you're prepared to have a meaningful dialogue when we come out to meet with you.
And have you reached out to Peconic Land?
I did. I have not heard back from you yet.
Do you want to elaborate that this may be in the works?
It is.
Go ahead.
We are looking for a qualified environmental person. That the problem is with a lot of the environmentalists out there, they're experts in one area, but not necessarily in another area. They represent an organization that they represent their constituents. And if they feel, some of them have felt like if they were a member of this committee, it would be in conflict with their mission statement of representing their constituents. We're trying, and Catherine, I mean that in all sincerity, is trying to find somebody, and it may be more than one person.
Right, so I'm gonna jump in here.
Sure.
I would like to be consulted on this. I would like, no one has discussed this with me. I am the liaison, I actually formed the Environmental Advisory Committee. It's numerous members, there are people on there that have great expertise and that would be willing to serve on this. Also, I'm the liaison to the Peconic Estuary Partnership. So I am in touch with these environmental people all the time. I feel certain that we could find someone. In fact, I agree with you. It should be more than one, because environmentally, we live in a fragile area, and in our area, once some of these, things are gone, they're gone forever. And we need to really think about that in all of our planning. So I think it's important that we get some people on here, more than one, and certainly I would be helpful if people would, I would like to be involved in that decision.
I'd like to interject too.
There's another part to all this we haven't talked about, are the subcommittees. We have the Farmland Subcommittee, we have the Environmental Subcommittee. The Environmental Subcommittee, I think, is the strongest. It's got like 15 members on it. It's got the Peconic Estuary program on it. I included your, I forget the woman's name, I apologize. She's a PhD, I think. I've talked to her at length.
Glennis?
No.
Oh, Joyce Novak?
Thank you.
Yes.
And there was actually, we had another meeting regarding the flooding issues regarding Peconic Estuary, and she turned out to be a member of the organization, so we got 2 members on that.
Right. Joyce Novak is a great resource. I had told you that Joyce and I had a conversation that she was involved in the update in South Pole, and she'd like to be involved in ours.
Yep.
And I think that, you just mentioned 2 groups. I know Rob Carpenter's on there, but
He's on the farmland.
I think that we should have, people from the farming community, and we need to have, several environmentalists at the main table. I mean, the subgroups are nice, but I think with issues as important as this, they should have a spot at the table.
Okay, and right now, just so everybody knows, the CAC is right now, their work for right now is, it's not done permanently. Right now, we've paused their involvement with the comprehensive plan update. Right now, the next step is to get out to the community. They've been waiting forever.
Absolutely.
And that's the critical part to this. The consultant's supposed to be meeting with them twice. That part should have been completed by now, and here we are still waiting for the first part, and we're stumbling a little bit with, I don't like to keep using the COVID as a reasoning, but we do have obviously social distancing and prohibition of gatherings and that sort of thing. But once we get the interactive map done, it's going to be full bore. This summer is going to be full of community meetings taking us through the end of the fall. So please be patient, I ask of you. If you have any questions, come see me. We'll meet somewhere and talk it over some more.
I have a comment. I've been involved with farming for a long time, and I've dealt with environmental people. I would urge that the environmental person that's included in the CAC be a scientist. There are plenty of organizations with public policy people who do not have the scientific background, but still want to get their messaging out. I think it's much more important to have somebody with a science background when you're including them into the environmental committee.
Well, I do have one person on the environmental committee who's a professor at Stony Brook. I mean, there's several people,
Yeah.
so you and I can have a conversation.
And the women that you talked about
And
maybe.
Joyce Novak,
Yeah, might be.
and I think all four of the women that work at Peconic Estuary have PhDs.
Yeah, I've spoken with two of them. I've had,
There's Lauren, Joyce.
it's been a few weeks, so I apologize. I
That's
don't
all right.
remember their
In either
names.
case-
Well, let's have a conversation about that.
Okay, so that's great, Catherine, have a conversation, but I want to open it up to the rest of the board. You want to submit more names? We are talking to people.
I just, for the
Okay,
record,
And then we'll, Jeffrey, and we'll work on, person, and we'll let you decide.
for the record, I had a conversation going back a couple months ago with Barbara Blass about this, and her knowledge, I think, is very useful in the town of Riverhead in this area. And I asked her if she would be interested, and she indicated very politely that she couldn't because of timing of other things in her life. She gave me a recommendation. I also spoke to Mr. Sid Bale about this, and he also gave me a recommendation. And it was the same recommendation that I had come up with, and it's the same name. I didn't say it earlier when I said I submitted a name because I hadn't talked to him and asked him.
Right.
But I submitted the name of Mark Hobner. And from what I understand, I still have not asked him personally, but I know somebody has spoken to him, and he's very interested in it. So I just want to put that out there, that he's somebody I recommend and suggest possibly for that position.
And Mark is actually the chair of the Environmental Advisory Committee. Mark has a wealth of knowledge. And I understand your point. It is good if people have a background in science, like
It's
the people.
imperative.
Except that you've got someone like Barbara Barbara has a background in planning. I mean, I know she's not doing it, but there's a person that has a background in planning and knows the town well, and understands SECRA really well. Mark also is involved in numerous environmental issues. So then maybe we could think about putting a couple people on. Maybe someone with institutional knowledge in the town and environmental issues, and someone who has a background in science.
Supervisor, just want to address one of Mike's comments about your appointment to Sid Bale to be part of the committee. You did discuss it with me, and I thought it was an excellent decision. He is a vast of knowledge, not just in the Wading River civic community, but he's worked and coincided with many of our civic associations, and I was all for it, and I think that I still stand by that he was an excellent choice to be on the committee as well.
Couldn't agree with you more. He's a great person to have on the committee, but I will say that I, as the liaison, was never consulted about that.
And I thought you looked surprised that day. I was not consulted. Of course, I work with Sid on some other committees. He's really good. It wouldn't even have hurt to have another person. Sid knows Wading River well, which is a key area that needs to weigh in. They get lost in the shuffle so often, but it'd be good to also have a civic person that also lives in Riverhead.
Yeah, and we did have emails in the beginning, Jeff, we're forming the committee and recommendations, and everybody was open, had the ability to make any type of recommendation. So we are open about it. If concerning the environmentalists, send the names, to CC me, send it to Jeff, and we can continue the conversation.
Well, we were not involved in the decision-making, but I'm happy that you're discussing it now.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, Supervisor, next we have Ms. Chun. Bring her up.
Hi there.
Hello.
Oh, you can hear me. Terrific. Hi, Takwi Church and Calverton Civic. Hello, everybody. I wanted to ask a quick question if Jefferson Murphy is still in the meeting.
You shouldn't sit so far away.
He's here.
He's here.
Oh, terrific. So Jeff, thanks for giving the updated information on the contract with AKRF. And also your request to have our civics and our hamlets look at the boundaries. I know that, well, one thing is you said you're not quite sure what the deadline is on when those maps will become interactive on the website. But would you have an idea of the map of Baiting Hollow? And the reason my asking specifically for Baiting Hollow is, I believe you and I have already talked about this. Michelle Smith has worked for 5 years diligently on securing the information with Suffolk County Planning regarding the boundaries of Baiting Hollow. Would you have any idea, an indication on on the progress of that map, or is that lumped in with everything else, and you're going to have deadlines coming up and you'll announce them? Thanks very much.
Okay.
If anybody has specific information about the hamlet boundaries, about if they think that there's a change or a correction that's needed, please email me or have them call me. Jason Blizzard and AKRF's GIS technician are working on the map as we speak, because Jason happened to be working on something else regarding the hamlet boundaries, and he was not aware that we had updated our, the draft of the hamlet map that's on our website. He's been in contact with the Postal Service regarding their zip codes. He's been in contact with Google, I believe, about maps and about their maps. So now is the time. If you have any information about your hamlet boundaries, get it to us. I'll get it to the consultants, and when we come out to meet with you, it'll still be a draft at that point, but we'll have a really good dialogue about it. I know it's a really touchy issue. A lot of people have their own personal historic ideas about what hamlet they're in. So it might be a moving target. It may never be resolved. We may be having this conversation 100 years from now.
Hopefully not.
I hope so.
I won't be.
I won't be
I won't be here.
Try Janice.
Well, you got two of us from being
Thank you, Jeff.
But I have to tell you, something as simple as this hamlet boundary, having done this in other jurisdictions, it's a really important issue to members of the community. So that in itself is to be an interesting dialogue. And Tochi, the invitation, don't forget about that, all right?
Awkward. I say it every week. Don't even worry about it, Devin.
Supervisor, that's it.
That's it.
No other comments.
For today?
And I just wanted to bring up one thing. We did have a lengthy discussion earlier about the audit and the fund balance. I do want to reiterate that because of the pandemic, it just clarifies for us how important it is to, keep up our fund balance. I also wanted to clarify that we put over $4 million back in the fund balance over 18 and 19. And yes, I do understand that the community benefit doesn't go directly into the operating budget, but I do think certainly when you look at some of the things that we've been able to give back to the community and spend the community benefit on, some of them are things that we might have looked at later down the road.
Bill, did you want to come up? Just to add, I just want to make sure that I'm clear in the past years, because we're going to be creating a budget starting very soon. We're going to make sure that we remain within the budget, the tax cap, as we did under the pandemic, which was unusual for many towns across Suffolk County and the state.
Yes, and fortunately, I just sent the five of you an email giving the detail from 2016 to 19.
Great.
16 was the first year we put money back in, and it increased every year. That put us in a good position for the pandemic, and we did bring in more money during the pandemic. I'm hoping that it's going to be over 15%. I think it will be. We'll have final numbers by the end of this month, unaudited numbers. The money we put back in, yes, Councilwoman Kent, you are correct. Over 2 years, it was $4 million. Okay, it was $209,016, $470,017, 1.4 million in 18 and 2.5 million in 19. So it's been steadily increasing now that we've gotten that debt off of our back. And we were able to do the same in 2020, and in another 2 or 3 weeks, I'll let the board know exactly how much that is.
And it's great to be able to continue balancing the budget. This was in the works for a very long time. I remember 7, 8 years ago how terrible our budget was, and what was going on, and the decrease in our bonding, and it was over a period of years. And I know you've been here for some time, and I want to thank you, because I know how dedicated you are to ensuring that we try to maintain our budget. And last year was, you even said it with your own words, the most difficult budget that you ever prepared. And again, I want to thank the town employees, the deputies, and the heads of the departments who supported me, who worked, who was able to minimize the cost, including employees. And as a result, we did not have to lay off any employees. We did get close to it, but we weren't there, and we're going to continue.
Well, and thankfully, previous boards had a plan to get us out of that debt.
Perfect.
And it took about 10 years to do that, but they stuck with it and never had to, I think 1 year we increased the tax levy more than 2%. It was like 3%. Other than that, we stayed at the 2% tax cap, which enabled especially businesses and homeowners to stay in the town and not be taxed out of their house. So,
And that's important.
that's how we got here today.
And Bill,
That's what
thank you.
happened when I came in like 6, 7 years ago. It was a bad situation. I do want to give credit where credit belongs, and Sean Walter did tighten up the budget in his last couple of years to make it work for the town. It was aided also by the economy, I'm not going to kid you, but, and Laura Jen Smith did the same thing. But to me, more spectacularly was the budget that Madam Supervisor did under COVID, because that budget, we were scared to death we were going to have to lay off people left and right. And there were going to be a lot of services cut and everything else. So I give a lot of credit to the last year budget.
I'm glad to hear that every year we're increasing
Right.
the amount that we're putting back in, and that trend should continue.
Right, and especially the pandemic proved all of that to us. And Bill, thank you for clarifying that information that I was talking about. Thank you.
All right, Bill, you keep it up. We're going to start jumping in very soon, starting the process again.
We need more money for the litter pickup. We ran out of pickers. We had so many people, we're actually up to 230 people today. We didn't have enough pickers and such. I'll be asking for that.
Okay, anyone else?
One item to bring up?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, thank you.
If I can just
for
mention,
asking.
I just wanted to give a special thanks to the Veterans Committee here in our town. They have worked tirelessly for a long time in doing the Hometown Banners project, and it's for our veterans, our heroes right here locally. We're super proud that on April 23rd, we are going to unveil our first Hometown Hero banners, and it's going to be right on Main Street. Those two banners will specifically honor Deshaun Briggs, who's tragically lost his life while on active duty, and also to honor Garfield Langhorne, who's our Congressional Medal of Honor recipient here from Riverhead. And so those will be the two banners that will be unveiled. And then from that moment on, from there till Memorial Day weekend, you will see banners being placed throughout Main Street, and we look forward. Their hard work on the committee has been incredible. It's an exciting project because we love our veterans. What a great way to honor it. And I think the project will certainly grow over the years as well. So families have an option to purchase a banner to honor any particular loved one or friend. And I think that it's going to, not only we're hoping just to fill Main Street, but we want to go to Jamesport, we want to go to Wading River, we just want to keep going and keep honoring our veterans. So I just wanted a special thanks, and I look forward to very shortly, you're going to see these banners unveiled, so it's exciting.
Did
Thank
you want to talk about the unveiling date and time? Maybe the public would like to attend?
It's going to be on April 23rd at 12 o'clock. Our first two banners that are going to be unveiled will be on Main Street in front of Kachina 25 restaurant, so right by Roanoke Avenue and Main Street. And so that'll be the first two, and then you'll, as I mentioned, over the next few weeks, see them all be unveiled and continue right up to Memorial Day weekend. So if anybody wants to gather outside on April 23rd at noontime, they'll see the first two banners be unveiled. So it's a special moment and long-awaited hard work by the Veterans Committee, so great job.
I love this whole idea. And even when, I thought about, well, there's so many veterans in Riverhead, but now you're talking about putting in other hamlets. I actually think that these banners are something that can make our community shine. I think the whole idea, and certainly we know, Garfield Langhorne and Deshaun Briggs are, two amazing heroes. They gave their lives for our country in Riverhead. And certainly I have a lot of veterans in my family. Even my grandmother was a veteran. So I'm excited about this project.
And what's great is both families are attending.
Yes, and
Correct?
so that's what a profound phone call. I had the opportunity to speak to both families and to invite them here on behalf of all of us. And just like, they're both elated, to come and be able to attend and see their family members honored, so that's great.
I've
work,
seen
Ken.
some,
Thank you.
Great, that's great, Ken.
I've seen some of the banners, and Waddell Signs did a tremendous job on these banners. They're
Yes, he does
beautiful.
great
My
work,
father-in-law's on one, and it's impeccable, the work and how clear it comes out and how nice they look.
Yeah.
This was a great idea, Ken.
And I'm glad you mentioned Weedell Signs, because Weedell Signs is covering the cost of the first two banners for Deshaun and Garfield, and so that's on their behalf, so grateful we are. And everyone will get to see it and watch it grow right down Main Street.
Terrific stuff.
And I love that we're using a local business. Of course, Weedell Signs give back to our community a lot. So it's really also great that we're using a local business to do the work.
Absolutely.
Thank you to them.
Great stuff. Okay, thank you, everyone. Please be safe. This concludes our meeting for today. Can I have a first and a second to go into, to close this town board meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Great. All opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved? Thank you.